Is this clearly a violation of the deal signed between Ankara and Moscow, establishing this demilitarized zone?
It is, and it's not the first violation we've seen since that deal came into effect, which was towards the end of October. This was all agreed in September of this year. And this latest violation reportedly happened last night. Now, that's according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, and we've confirmed this with our sources on the ground as well. What we have been told happened is that regime forces in this demilitarized buffer zone area along Idlib border, and this area is in the Hama countryside, that regime forces attacked and have killed at least 22 opposition fighters. So that's a very clear violation. This demilitarized zone was put into place, this buffer zone, to try and keep the forces separate and to stop the fighting. If you look back a couple of months ago, it seemed that there was a real push by the Syrian regime, backed by Russia, potentially looking to retake Idlib, and that was estimated to put some 3 million people in the Idlib province at serious risk if that operation had gone ahead. So this demilitarized zone was put into place, but it's been less than a month that it's actually been in effect, and we've seen violations on both sides taking place, but the one last night, quite a serious violation. As we said, at least 22 opposition fighters are reported to have been killed in that attack carried out by regime forces.
So, Sarah, tell us, I mean, these are opposition fighters, you say, but who exactly is Jaish al Izza? Because Russia and Syria had tried to make a distinction between abiding by the conditions of the demilitarized zone, but while also being able to take out terrorist groups.
Well, Jaish al Izza is one of the Free Syrian Army groups that has control around that border area in the demilitarized buffer zone. We actually went to meet with them on the Syrian front line just before the Idlib deal came into effect. And I can tell you, we met with the Jaish al Izza fighters, with the commanders. We went to their front line, to their trenches, and you could see the regime forces were just a couple of kilometers away. So the two front lines in that buffer zone are very close indeed. The area around where this attack took place had already been flattened in the past with previous fighting, and the reports from both the Jaish al Izza, the Free Syrian Army group fighters, and locals that have remained in this area were very harrowing. I mean, you could see for yourself that the buildings in the area had been bombed out. There were just shells of buildings around and very few people remaining living in that area. And it was an area that has come under constant attack by the regime, and with Jaish al Izza holding that front line. They are a strong Free Syrian Army force. They're very well numbered. They're very experienced. A lot of their commanders are former Syrian military members that defected and joined the Free Syrian Army at the beginning of the uprising. So they're a very strong, effective force for the Free Syrian Army. But the fact that those front lines are so close does show you how difficult it is to implement these kind of demilitarized, de-escalation zone deals. And in the past, we've seen these deals fail because there isn't really many repercussions when it comes to these violations. So when we spoke to the Jaish al Izza fighters before the deal came into effect, they were very sceptical about whether this deal would work. Of course, they were hopeful because the risk is, if this deal fails, that all bets are then off, and Idlib and its civilians that remain in that area are again going to be put at pretty severe risk.
Okay. Sarah Firth joining us there from Gaziantep. Thanks so much for that.